All right, welcome to the deep dive. You guys sent in some really interesting articles about the upcoming IPL season.
Yeah,
And a lot to get to.
tons.
New rules, new captains, and of course, the big question, who is going to win it all this year?
Yeah, who's going to take home the trophy? It's an interesting time for the IPL.
Absolutely.
It's been around for a while now, but
17 years.
17 years, yeah. And just looking at some of these changes even before the season starts, things like player salaries and all the new captains, it really feels like we might be heading into a whole new era.
For sure. And speaking of those player salaries, let's jump right into one of the biggest changes this year.
Okay.
Match fees. For the first time ever in IPL history, players are going to be getting paid extra for every match they play on top of their contracts.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, for both Indian and international players, right?
Yeah, both. Really changes the game, right? I mean, think about it. Do you think this is going to maybe push teams to play certain players more often?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it could even change how the players themselves see each match. Instead of just focusing on their overall contract, now they're getting a bonus for each game. Adds a whole new layer to the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. One of the articles had a great example of this. Robin Means from the Mumbai Indians.
Sure.
He was bought for 65 lakh rupees. Not bad, right?
No, not at all.
But on top of that, he's going to be making an extra 7.5 lakh rupees per match.
Wow.
And if he plays all 14 matches, that's a total of 1.05 crore rupees in match fees alone.
Wow.
So his total earnings for the season could reach 1.70 crore rupees.
That's wild.
That's serious money. And you know what? I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this affects those players who aren't the guaranteed starters.
Yeah.
The guys on the edge of the squad. I mean, that per match fee could be a huge incentive to really push themselves in training, impress the coaches, and try to earn a spot in the playing 11.
Absolutely. Makes every match even more important.
For sure. Now, let's talk about another massive change this season. The captains. 5 out of the 10 teams are going in with brand new captains.
Yeah, big shakeup.
And get this, 9 out of those 10 captains are Indian. It's the first time since 2019 that we've only got one team, Sunrisers Hyderabad, led by Pat Cummins, with a foreign captain. That says a lot about the strength of Indian leadership in cricket right now, doesn't it?
It really does. You have to wonder, is this a deliberate strategy from the franchises? Are they prioritizing local leadership, maybe thinking that an Indian captain will understand the players and the nuances of the game in India better?
That's a good point.
Or maybe it's just, a reflection of the incredible talent pool in India right now. Either way, it's going to be super exciting to see how these new captains, especially the Indian captains, shape their team.
Yeah, absolutely. And the age range of these captains is pretty interesting, too. The average age is 30.
Okay.
We've got Shubman Gill from Gujarat Titans, the youngest, at just 25 years old. Talk about bringing youthful energy to the leadership role, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other end, we've got Ajinkya Rahane leading Kolkata Knight Riders at 36. That's a wealth of experience right there.
Tons of experience.
It's a fascinating mix of fresh perspectives and seasoned veterans. I can't wait to see how it plays out on the field. Those tactical battles are going to be something else.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, you've got a young captain like Gill, maybe he's going to come in with a more aggressive approach, really use those data analytics to make decisions.
Right.
And then you have someone like Rahane who's been there, done that, seen it all. He's going to be relying on his instincts, his understanding of the game. Those pressure moments are going to be really telling to see how each captain handles the team and makes those game-changing decisions.
I know. Okay, so quick reminder. The season kicks off on March 22nd. Mark your calendars. We've got Kolkata Knight Riders looking to defend their title.
Back to back.
But of course, the big boys, Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, they're both hungry for their 6th title. That would be a new IPL record.
The pressure's on.
Yeah. Then you've got teams like Lucknow, Punjab, Delhi, and Bengaluru, who are all still searching for that first IPL trophy.
That hunger, that desperation for a win, is going to make things really interesting.
For sure. Those teams might be willing to take more risks, try new things, could shake things up.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's dig into some of these teams. Based on the articles you sent in, what are their strengths and weaknesses? What kind of strategies can we expect to see?
All right, let's do it.
Let's start with the defending champs, Kolkata Knight Riders. The reports are talking about how strong their finishing lineup is, particularly from numbers 4 through 7, which in T20 cricket is crucial.
Absolutely. Got to finish strong.
And there's a buzz about Sunil Narine potentially opening the batting to give them even more depth. Plus, their bowling attack with Chifti, Harshit, and Vaibhav Arora looks solid. What do you think?
I think using Narine as an opener is a brilliant move.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's always been such a dangerous hitter. If he can get some quick runs early on, it just takes the pressure off the rest of the batting lineup.
Right. Those middle order guys can play more freely.
Exactly. And, even though their bowling attack maybe doesn't have that one superstar name, they've got a good mix of skills, and they're really good at using spin and playing to the conditions.
Okay, so strong batting, potentially even stronger with Narine opening, solid if unspectacular bowling. What about weaknesses?
Well, the one that stands out is their new captain, Ajinkya Rahane.
Okay.
I mean, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, tons of experience.
Right.
But he's only captained 25 IPL matches before. It's a different beast leading an IPL team, lots of pressure. Plus, they let go of their championship-winning captain, Shreyas Iyer. So there are some big shoes to fill there.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, Rahane's not a young guy anymore. There's a bit of worry about his fitness and whether trying to manage that might weaken their top order.
Yeah, that's a valid point. They can't afford to have him getting injured or needing to rest too often.
Okay, so what's the strategy then? What do the reports say?
Well, it seems like they're really going to rely on their spinners, Narine, Chifti, and Markande, especially if the pitches are spin-friendly.
Yeah.
Plus, they've got all those all-rounders, Russell Narine again and Ramandeep Singh,
Yeah.
gives them a lot of flexibility.
For sure. And don't forget about their impact player options. Ankush Raghuvanshi and Manish Pandey. They could really change the course of a match.
Oh, absolutely. Impact player is going to be huge this season.
So a potential starting 11 is Rahane as captain, Tikak keeping wickets, Narine, Venkatesh Iyer, Raghuvanshi, Rinku Singh, Russell, Ramandeep, Harshit Rana, Norchi, Chipti, and Aurora. What do you think?
That's a solid lineup. Well balanced.
Okay, so let's move on to Sunrisers Hyderabad. What are we thinking?
All right, Sunrisers, they look dangerous, especially with their batting.
Yeah.
Yeah, their top five is stacked. Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma, and then they brought in Ishan Kishan. Could be fireworks from the very first ball.
And they snagged Nitesh Kumar Reddy, who's a pretty handy all-rounder.
Yeah, solid player.
Yeah.
And their middle order, Heinrich Clausen, real power hitter there.
Wow, so they're really going all in on batting this year.
Seems like it. And their bowling isn't too shabby either. Harshal Patel, Pat Cummins, Mohammad Shami. That's a lot of experience.
Those are some big names. Okay, but every team has a weakness. What about Sunrisers?
I think their biggest question mark is who's going to finish the innings after Klassen.
Okay, yeah.
They've got some young guys like Abhinav Manohar, Aniket Verma, Kamindu Mendes.
Right.
But those last few overs, when the pressure is really on, can they handle it? That's a lot to ask from young players.
Yeah, those are some big shoes to fill.
Especially if they're trying to chase down a big score or trying to add those extra runs at the end. We'll see.
Okay, so big focus on batting. Maybe some inexperience in the finishing department. What's their overall strategy going to be?
Well, the reports are saying they're going for big scores, like really big scores.
Really?
Yeah, some are even saying they might try to hit 300 runs in 20 overs. That's unheard of.
That's crazy. That's got to be their strategy then, right? Just blow everyone else out of the water with massive totals.
Yeah, seems like it. Full attack from the first ball.
Yeah.
And with Cummins and Shami to bowl in the power play, and Patel and Unadkat for the death overs, they've definitely got the bowling to back it up.
Aggressive. I like it.
Sure.
So a possible 12 would be Cummins as captain, Abhishek Sharma, Head, Kishan, Nitesh Reddy, Klassen as wicketkeeper, Mendes, either Manohar or Verma, Patel, Chahar, Shami, and Unadkat. Wow, that's a lot of batting firepower.
Yeah, definitely a team built to score runs.
All right, let's move on to Rajasthan Royals.
Okay.
The reports are saying their strength is their top order, with experienced guys like Samson, Jaiswal, Hetmeyer, and Parag.
Yeah, solid top order.
And they've added Nitish Rana and Shubham Dubey, which gives them even more batting depth. Their bowling also looks pretty good with Hasaranga, Madwal, Tikshana, Archer, Faruqi, and Sandeep Sharma.
Yeah, that's a pretty balanced attack. They got some really exciting young bowlers in there. And of course, Archer back in the mix is a huge boost.
It's always good to have Jafra back.
Yeah.
So where do they need to improve? Where are they vulnerable?
Well, like Sunrisers, they're missing a really strong finisher to bat with Hetmeyer.
Okay.
He can't do it all himself. And their bench isn't very deep. If someone gets injured or goes through a rough patch, they might be in trouble.
Yeah, they're going to need those top guys to stay healthy and in form.
And they're a little light on foreign batsmen. Could limit their options depending on the pitch.
Okay, good points.
Wow.
So what's the strategy then? How are they going to approach this season?
Well, it sounds like they need their top order to really take responsibility, bat deeper into the innings, be able to chase down big scores.
Right.
And with that bowling attack, they might try to make pitches in Jaipur that favor their bowlers. Maybe something a little slower, a little more spin-friendly.
Let me get their home turf advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, a potential 12 for them is Samson as captain and keeper, Jaiswal, Rana, Parag, Jurel, Dubey, Hetmeyer, Hasaranga, Archer, Faruqi, Madwal, and Sharma. Looks like a team that's going to lean heavily on its core group.
For sure. They're going to need those key players to really step up.
All right, how about Royal Challengers, Bengaluru? What's the word on the street?
All right, RCB. They've made some interesting moves. Brought in some real T20 specialists like Phil Salt, Liam Livingstone, Jitesh Sharma, and Krunal Pandya.
Yeah, Salt and Livingston can really hit the ball a long way.
Oh, yeah. And their pace bowling gets a big boost with Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Yeah, and he'll have support from Yash Dayal, Hazelwood, and Salam.
Yep. Looks like they've finally addressed some of those weaknesses that have held them back in the past.
Okay, interesting. But what about the weaknesses? What's going to hold them back this year?
Well, they didn't really go after any of the huge names in the auction.
Right.
And their wrist spinners, Swapnil Singh and Suyash Sharma, they're a bit unproven at this level.
And don't forget about the captaincy. They let Faf du Plessis go, and now Raja Patidar is the new skipper.
Yeah, he's still pretty young for a captain. And they don't have a lot of experience in the spin department overall.
So a lot of pressure on those young spinners and the new captain.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it.
Okay, so what's the plan? How are they going to try to win games?
Well, it looks like they have a lot of flexibility in their batting order.
Okay.
They could move Krunal Pandya up to the top 4, use his left-handed batting to disrupt the bowlers.
And Tim David is a great finisher.
Yeah, he can definitely clear the boundaries. And they've definitely improved their death bowling, so maybe they'll focus more on defending totals this year.
All right, so a possible 12 is Patidar as captain, Salt, Kohli, Pandya, Livingstone, Jitesh Sharma keeping, Tim David, either Swapnil or Suyash, Salam, Bhuvi, Hazelwood, and Dayal. It's a mix of proven stars and some exciting new faces.
For sure, RCB is always a team to watch.
Okay, moving on to Delhi Capitals. What do we have?
Well, they seem to have done some really smart business in the auction. Got some good value for their money with Rahul, Stark, Natarajan, and Axar.
Yeah, those are all great players.
Yeah, and they've made Axar Patel the captain.
That's a good choice. He's a really good all-rounder.
Yeah, exactly. Gives them a lot of options.
So they're looking pretty good on paper. What are the worries?
The big one is finishing power. They're kind of relying on Axar and Ladlit to do it all.
Okay.
And they didn't bring in any big-hitting foreign players for that role.
So if those two guys don't fire, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, especially if they need to chase a big score. And losing Harry Brook, he was a good player in the middle order,
Right.
so that hurts a bit.
So how are they going to try to win games?
Well, they've got Stark and Mukesh Kumar for the new ball.
Okay.
Then Natarajan and Mohit Sharma are excellent death bowlers. And they've got Kuldeep and Axar to control the middle overs.
So a very balanced bowling attack.
Yeah, I think so. And with some explosive batsmen higher up the order, they're probably going to be pretty aggressive.
All right, let's see that potential 11 then.
Okay, so we've got Axar as captain, Jake Fraser-McGurk, KL Rahul keeping wickets, either Porel or Rizvi, Duplessis, Stubbs, Lalit, Stark, Kuldeep, Natarajan, Sharma, and Mukesh Kumar.
That bowling attack could really surprise some teams.
I think so too. If they click, they're going to be tough to beat.
All right, next up is Lucknow Super Giants. What's the scoop on them?
Well, their finishing lineup looks pretty scary. Poran, Miller, Shabazz Ahmed, Samad. That's a lot of firepower at the end of an innings.
Yeah. Wow.
And having Rishabh Pant back, playing freely in the IPL,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to add a whole other dimension to their batting.
Okay, so batting looks good. What are the concerns?
Their opening partnership is a bit of a worry.
Okay.
Mitchell Marsh isn't bowling, and neither Markram or Britska have been in great form lately.
And didn't they have some injuries to their bowlers?
Yeah, Mohsin, Avesh, and Mayank are all carrying knocks.
That could be a problem. So how are they going to strategize around these issues?
Well, one idea is to move Pant up to open the batting. That would shake things up for sure.
Wow, bold move.
Yeah, but if it works, it could really balance out their batting order.
And with all those finishers, they're obviously not afraid to chase big scores.
Nope. A possible 12 for them is Pant as captain and keeper, Marsh, either Markram or Pritsky, Badoni, Puran, Miller, Samad, Shabazz, Bishnoi, Mohsin, Mayank, and either Avesh or Akash Deep.
That's an interesting lineup. I'm really curious to see if they actually go with Pant as an opener.
Me too. It'll be a gamble, but it could pay off big time.
All right. Time for Gujarat Titans. What do we got?
Well, the big news for them is the addition of Joss Butler.
Oh, yeah. Huge signing.
Yeah, one of the best T20 openers in the world. Plus, he can keep wickets.
Gives them a lot of flexibility.
And their finishing lineup is strong, too. Rutherford, Shahrukh Khan, Tawashia, Rashid Khan, even Glenn Phillips.
That's a lot of options. So a strong top order and a strong lower order.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's a bit of a gap in the middle.
Okay.
Sudhirsan and Lamore, they're good players, but they're not proven match winners at this level.
And they're bowling.
They have options, but Siraj, Rabada, and Sundar can all be a bit expensive at times.
So they need to be careful not to leak too many runs.
Exactly. So it sounds like their strategy is pretty straightforward. Score more runs than the other team.
Makes sense. And they can probably do it most of the time with that batting lineup.
Yeah. But they might need to use impact players to strengthen their bowling in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe bring in Ishant Sharma or Sai Kishore.
Okay, so a potential starting 11 for Gujarat is Gill as captain, Butler keeping, Sudhirsan, Lomer, Phillips, Shahrukh, Tawachia, Rashid, maybe Kishore or Sharma, Rabada, Siraj, and Krishna.
Yep, that's a team built for big scores.
Okay, let's wrap things up with Punjab Kings. What are we thinking?
Well, they've made a really smart move by bringing in Shreyas Iyer as captain.
Yeah, I like that signing.
Me too.
Yeah.
He brings stability to the team, and he's a quality batsman in the middle order.
And they've added some real power to their finishing with Dhawan, Maxwell, Shashank, Jansen, and Shetty.
Yeah, a lot more options there. Plus, their bowling looks good with Ashdeep, Chahal, Brar, Thakur, and Jansen.
They're ticking a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
But what about the question marks?
Well, Maxwell's always a bit of a wild card. He can win games on his own, but he hasn't been very consistent in the IPL lately. And Ferguson, he can be expensive.
And didn't they pick up a few Australians who haven't played much in India?
Yeah, 3 of them. It's a tough place to adapt to as a foreign player.
Okay, so some potential risks there.
Mm-hmm.
What's the plan then? How are they going to approach the season?
Well, if their openers can give them a good start, the rest of the team looks pretty balanced.
Makes sense. And they have some exciting young players like Shetty, Prav Simran, Shashank, and Dhawan.
Yeah. If they can get the best out of those guys, they could be a real threat.
All right, so a possible 12 is Shreyas as captain, Prav Simran keeping, Short, Shashank Stoinis, Maxwell Wadhira, Shetty, Jansen, Brar, Ashdeep, and Chahal. That's a team with a good mix of experience and youth.
Yep. I'm really interested to see how they perform.
All right, last but not least, Mumbai Indians. What's the verdict?
Well, their top order is incredible, packed with Indian stars.
Rohit, Surya, the whole gang.
Yeah, and their pace bowling is phenomenal. Bumrah, Bolt, Chahar.
And they have some great spinners too, Santner and Mujib.
Yeah, they've got all the bases covered.
So are they the favorites then?
They're definitely up there. But they do have a couple of weaknesses.
Okay, what are they?
They're a little thin on finishers to help out Hardik.
Yeah, true.
Young Robin Mines is going to have to step up. And they don't have a backup Indian wicketkeeper.
And Bumrah's fitness is always a concern.
Yeah, he's so important to their bowling attack. If he misses any games, it's a huge blow.
All right, so strong team, but some potential problems. How are they going to approach the season?
Well, if their batting clicks and they can find a way to finish innings strongly, they're definitely contenders for that 6th title.
Right.
But Rohit hasn't been at his best in the IPL lately. That could put extra pressure on the other batsmen.
Yeah, they need him to fire.
Yeah.
So a possible 11 is Hardik as captain, Rohit, Jax, Varma, Surya, Deer, Mines keeping wickets, Santner, Chahar, Mujib, Bolt, and either Bumrah or Sharma, depending on his fitness.
Yep, that's a strong lineup. But can they live up to the hype?
That's the big question. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the upcoming IPL season, it's clear there are a lot of changes afoot. Player match fees, new captains, and of course the eternal quest for the IPL trophy.
Yeah.
It's all set up for a really exciting season.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be fascinating to see how all of these changes play out. You know, how do the teams adapt to the new rules? How do the new captains lead their teams? And which team can overcome their weaknesses and rise to the top?
Exactly. And remember, we've only looked at a few of the teams today. There are so many other stories and subplots to follow.
Yeah, each team has its own strengths and weaknesses, its own challenges to overcome.
And that's what makes the IPL so unpredictable and exciting to watch.
Absolutely. So before we go, here's a question for everyone listening. With everything we've discussed today, which team are you most excited to watch?
Yeah. And what do you think is going to be the deciding factor this season? Is it a new tactic, a breakout star, maybe just a little bit of luck?
I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Me neither. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.